Welcome back to yet another episode of Trainz Simulator, Trainz Z. Today we're going to be taking a look at Trainz Forge's Western Pacific Exposition Flyer pack. This pack was kind of the train in and of itself back in the day was to test modern or more modern passenger operations, heavyweight passenger operations and such. It started in 1939 and was meant more as a test, but lasted until the late 40s, I believe. And so Trainz Forge has, I believe, 3 Exposition Flyer packages for different railroads. I picked up the Western Pacific because I wanted the steam locomotives, so which we see here. Now, if you guys remember, I did a video a while back on the MNRR 482s, and I believe I recall I said that those were based on these locomotives. These are the actual prototypes. So we're going to take a peek at them today. Now, it is a huge pack. And I did leave my internet flyer up here so that we can look through, because I 100% could not remember what all comes in it. So, as you can see, we got a Western Pacific Class 121, a 203 RPO, a Rio Grande Class 1000, CB&Q Class PB20s, Western Pacific Class 301s, Pullman 16 section tour sleepers, Western Pacific Class 501, Pullman Class 1011, Pullman Class 121, Western Pacific Class 651, boogity boogity all the way down. And then the locomotives, which are MTP 44 mountain classes. So it's a huge pack. It's well worth checking out if you don't have it already. As you guys saw, it was only what, $10? Yeah, so well worth picking up, especially if you're interested in the Western Pacific, but even more so if you like oddball passenger trains of the pre-streamlined era. So, as I said, huge pack. You will end up with a bunch of different variations of this locomotive in many other different phases that they tested. So, example, right now, pulling our train, we have the pre-war variant, which is pretty much a basic locomotive, nothing fancy done to it. But hop over here, we have the 1947 version of 173, which will have a couple oddball details change, like our headlight, our smoke lifter, and another pre-war right here, just for giggles and squiggles. Here's the World War II variant, as the locomotive would have been during World War II. I do not know what all changes between each and every single locomotive. Truth be told, we'd be here all day if I tried to do a whole video covering everything. I believe the most basic of the details is stuff like headlights, smoke lifters. That stuff changes. So like here we got with another smoke riser right here, hooded headlight. The World War II variant with the smoke riser and this wonky hood on its headlight. Here's a 1937 variant of number 172 with this kind of deflector shield. Of course, we got the 1939 here, which has a box around the smokestack. I really don't know the full history on why this locomotive is the way it is. I did not do any research outside of what the Western Pacific, or what side the Trainz Forge site said. So It's the 1948 variant. It's got the little smoke lifter right there and a different headlight. So I will go ahead and say every single one of these locomotives has the exact same sounds, same operations, same basic things that you can fiddle with. So I'm not going to go through each and every single one of them. Like I said, we'd be here all day. But detail wise, you have your smoke box doors and windows and engineer door, or engineer and fireman doors. So boom. Window, door. So, and then all of the cars included are able to have their doors opened as well, and they all have sounds, which is very nice. This is the standard consist that is included with the pack. And the cars, you know, they don't look half bad. This is one of Trainz Forge's older packs. This is one that they've had up for quite some time now, so it's not quite up to par with a lot of the stuff that they have released in the recent year or two. So a lot of 2D textures, is very blurry. Till we get to this one. This one actually doesn't look... This one looks more what they do now, but these other cars, there's a bunch of 2D texturing and such that it hasn't aged very well compared to a lot of the stuff that they're pushing out now, but that's not to say that it's bad. I mean, like I said, pack's $10 and it's huge. So let's take this locomotive down the rail. The whistle's not bad. There's a very noticeable pop, but other than that, not bad. The chuff rate is way off. However, the starting chuffs are actually kind of nice. They're just way off. Ugh. That change wasn't so nice. There's our bell. Bell is a bell sound we've heard before. Nothing special, but it is animated. Starting out, the chuffs were pretty nice, but it's a very noticeably different pitch. Started out very kind of deeper, darker, and then went to this high-pitched. Wow, floating cars. So I'm not a huge fan of the chuff sounds, but sounds are something that's really easy to change in Trainz, so I won't hate on that. Detail-wise, the locomotive looks pretty good. Like I said, it's not quite up to par with a lot of the stuff that they put out now, so I mean, like we're missing a cord to go to the whistle. The bell, I believe, is steam operated, so it's not such a huge problem. However, it looks like there's supposed to be a cord that goes to the bell. Overall texturing is kind of blurry, but it is still very much a 3D model, which is, you know, for earlier stuff from them, this was nice back then. All too often Trainz models are just 2D, as a lot of the cars are, but so the locomotive is nicely 3D modeled. It could very much stand have a facelift, a nice texturing upgrade, some extra detailing, but again, it's a huge pack for $10, so I won't hate on it. But like I said, this is a stark example of the texturing. This is not so great. Yeah, that shows horribly. So, texturing not so good. Modeling really nice. Does not have a custom cab. This is a typical placeholder cab. I'm not a fan of the sounds. The chuff sounds are just not there. We'll listen to the cars. The car sounds are actually not that bad. Those sound pretty nice. They're not too loud, not too obnoxious, but they are there. And they do have interiors, which is really nice. Nice little herald here. Unfortunately, it's not lighted, which makes me a little sad, but it is what it is. Oop, there we go. This is a neat car. I like this. It's cool. Really not that bad, especially if you're a Western Pacific guy. It goes really nicely with that K&L Western Pacific locomotive. Not a whole lot of WP steam locomotives out there. Let's go ahead and bring it to a stop. So it does have a nice wind up. It doesn't just take off like a rocket. It does take it a moment to pick up speed. Pretty nice slowdown. No ambient noise. No rods clanking or anything. No real chuffs. So that's a little sad, but cars do have brake smoke, which I don't like it. It's too clean cut, and it shows. Boom. So, nice stopping distance. It doesn't come to an immediate halt like some other stuff that we've seen, some of the early stuff. It does have some nice physics to it. Overall, the whole pack is definitely not up to snuff with a lot of the stuff that they push out now. It is a good example of how far they've come with their detail work and whatnot, but it definitely doesn't stand up to a lot of the stuff they push out now, both freeware and payware. But that's not to say it's not a bad looking model overall. Sounds definitely need work, but as I said, it's very easy to change up sounds on Trainz to whatever you so please. But overall, the modeling is really nice, and like I said, the pack is huge. You get a handful of locomotives in all sorts of variants. I also forgot, we do get a handful of... that's interesting. Anyway, you get 3 different variations of the tender. You get a clean, semi-weathered, and heavy weathered, which... like I said, the texturing is not too great, so it doesn't really show all that well. Yeah, overall, not a fan of the texturing, but do get all the different variants. And then just a ton of different locomotives, a ton of different variations of the Locomotive anyway. So certainly well worth checking out if you don't already have it. Overall, it is really nice. So that's about it. Not a huge video today. It's not one of my favorites that Trainz Forge has put out, but it is one of the payware models that I haven't seen much of, so I ended up picking it up for giggles and squiggles and thought I'd show it off. Like I said, it's definitely not their best work, but certainly well worth checking out. So do go check out their web store, as always, link in the description, and I will see you guys next time.